Hello, Malissia.
Hello, Susie, and hello to all of you. Thank you for joining us again here at the Source for Success. We're having a wonderfully silly and fun conscious conversation, and something that Susie mentioned the other day, I just want to elaborate on. I love it so much. I've sat and considered it, and I just loved her terminology. And so today, what I want to know is, have you ever felt that you are giving a social media presence or an online presence? Do you have an online presence? Are you aware of the online and social presence of others? Is it really obvious? And are you ready or willing or eager? Is there a desire in you to give up the image? We're going to talk about that today. So,
Yeah.
Susie mentioned something at least a week ago, and tell me how you said it because I just loved it.
Yes, yes. I have a social media presence, and when I started building it, it was all about showing up authentically, or so I thought. Showing up, building an image, sharing my life and my journey from a place of, hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing. This is how I look. This is what I value. This is what I have to offer you. And through my journey, because I was receiving tangible results as I progressed, I was able to check in with myself several times and realize that what I was building was an image, and I was very much bending to what I thought my audience would respond to. And it was very much um, from the mind. It really was just an image, it had no essence to it. And what I was sharing with Malissia the other day was that my social presence has moved from being an image to something that has got real body. It's got presence, it's got essence. And what I mean by that is it's not any longer about the external, it's about the energy, the truth, the knowingness, and the absolute presence that I share with. So, it's become really important to me as I show up on social media that I show up not from a place of who will like this or who will approve, or am I doing it right? Because, there's so many ways to build a social presence. And there's plenty of people teaching it, and they're all awesome ways for people who are just getting started. But for me, it was feeling empty. And I know I can go onto some people's social media profiles and I can feel the lack of presence in their presence. You know, they are doing everything right according to the rules and they're sharing great content, but there's a lack of integrity between the images, the words, and the essence, the energy that's behind them. And, I'm not so concerned with doing things right. I'm concerned with doing things authentic, showing up as me. I would like people, whether it's on social media or in person, to meet me as I am
In
and
presence,
in present.
with their social media presence, with their online presence, as in oneness, as in wholeness, as in nowness, not social media or online image. So yes, it's double entendre. I mean, obviously we're taking the word presence and making it presence. And that's what I loved Susie doing last week, is that I was like, oh, I like that. And maybe at this point you've heard that a whole lot. I had not. And so I was like, ooh, me likey. In the sense of, I had just shared with Susie this story of this wonderful lady that I had met in a big group, Facebook group chat of I think a page of a book we had all bought of this amazing author that was just phenomenal. And there was 100,000 people in this one, and we were all sharing different things, and we were all, I think we were celebrating like wins, things that we had succeeded at, because that was the book we bought, something self-helpy and celebrating yourself. And I had just finished a screenplay that had gone on to win several awards, and something really big had happened, like on a film freeway. It was one of I was celebrated from Film Freeway, which is somewhere you put scripts if you're looking to put scripts somewhere. It's where you put your scripts to be put out to festivals and for people to see it, and it's a paid service. And my scripts had been this particular script had been chosen up, and as others, that they were celebrating me, that I was one of the most chosen, that my scripts had been some of the most chosen that was out there, and it was a big deal. And I was so happy about it that I put it on here to be celebrated, because I'm acknowledging, and everybody got to celebrate me. And I'm talking thousands of these people were celebrating. It was really wonderful, because had I put it on my own page, I think 10 of my friends said that was awesome, and that was really cool too. That in this group, there were so many people already ready to acknowledge greatness and be loved and love. They wanted to be loved, but they were loving on people. So it was a really great space. It was the space for being celebrated and to celebrate others. So when I met one of these wonderful women on there, loads of lovely people sharing different challenges they've gone through and success stories that they had managed. And this person had lost over 100 pounds, and she had done it really amazingly. And she showed her before and after pictures, and just it was just amazing. Like, she was amazing, and all these other people doing amazing things that I got to celebrate. And I was getting to celebrate, they were celebrating. And what was interesting is that then I became, social media friends with this person, and I got to watch her page. And she was somebody who was just like anybody else, who she had lost all this weight. She was just a beautiful person. She really was very authentic on her posts. She had, a few hundred followers, friends, whatever, on there for when I clicked let's be friends. And her posts were very simple, very ordinary, every day. Like, she'd been to the gym over here, she ate this food over here, she went to see this person over here, went to see this movie, and what she thought about it. And over time, I started to notice her image change, her online presence, her social media presence change. And from being celebrated in that group, and I'm talking thousands of people celebrating that, which was so beautiful. But people were saying something to her like, oh my God, you're so inspiring. I hope you have a page. I hope you put out a book. I hope you have a brand. And she heard that, and she created that. And all of a sudden her picture changed, and she looked amazing and beautiful. And she, had this gorgeous mohawk, and dyed her hair this pink color. And she then branded her whole page around these colors and this neon, and amazing. She looked amazing. She was amazing. And her posts started coming across much more affirmative, and telling you what to do and how to go for it, and motivational. And a lot of her old posts, slid down the way, that were no longer about like what she hated, or the simple things. They were no longer about the simple things. If I went to the movie and this was really cool, it started to being about, videos in the car and makeup, and about a whole image.
Mm.
And then she had thousands. She very quickly blew up, and she had thousands of followers, and very clear social media presence and image, and very clear brand at this point. And I checked back in over time, and this has been over the last couple few years. And I checked back in, and I started to notice, very clear on her brand, very clear on her image, very clear on the look that she's giving out. She's now, I think she did write a book. She's hosting a podcast. I think she's doing some therapy for people on losing weight or doing something. But I started to notice something also, is that you weren't really knowing anything about her anymore. Her and her love for herself, and her simple authenticity. And it became very much about the brand, about being motivational to other people, about the image that she was upholding, and now to many more people. And I didn't feel she was accessible at all anymore. Had I met this person, I don't know if I would have ever friended her. I wouldn't have felt that we could have been friends and had a conversation, because we had messaged each other in the past, and I said whatever, like, yeah, you, on whatever it was. And suddenly she seemed so inaccessible because it was a platform she's now on. That's another word we use, right? Your social media platform, this social media pedestal, if you get put on it or put yourself on it. And what I was saying to Susie is, how do you now step away from the image if you get wrapped up in it? And now how do you leave it behind if it's no longer serving you? You're not actually happy. You're so busy preaching to everybody else on how to be and that be motivational,
Mm.
but you're no longer in presence at all. You're not authentic to yourself, and maybe you don't even know what that is anymore, because you're being authentic. You're looking the look, you're doing the thing, you're motivating people, helping them do whatever the thing they need, whether it's losing weight or writing a script or showing up happy or selling a pill or selling them coffee, selling them water like we do, whatever it is. And but you've lost yourself in it. You've lost your soul as you've gone along. You've sold out to some degree and you don't even know it. And maybe you do now know it and you don't know how to get off the platform, off the pedestal. Maybe you have to leave it all together. Maybe you've left social media all and ran away, like, oh, like I did last year. But how do you just step off of it and go back to authenticity? It's not like you have to just put sweatpants on again and show everybody what you're having for dinner. Like maybe that's what you were doing before, and you're like, now I have to go all the way. No, it's okay what you've created for yourself. But how do you now step back into it authentically in the
Mm.
presence? And now you have a social media presence of wholeness and authenticity that is really genuinely serving you and others. And it's not about preaching to them or being motivational or anything, maybe necessarily. It's just being you.
Yeah.
And now you have an online presence that is genuinely serving the world, serving you and serving the world. And if it's not, you're just having fun. Maybe you're just being present and being you, and you're silly. You're showing us your dinner, you're showing us your sweatpants, I don't care. You're showing us your cool haircut, showing us whatever movie you went. But it's not from a place of, I have to show up, I'm obligated to my fans to
Mm.
be an image, to have an opinion on something, and to say and now lead the people. Can it now just come from who and what you are in this present moment that is genuinely sharing you? Remember when MySpace was around, guys? Back in the day, back when you were just like, I love this music and I chose my music and here's my me and here's my page, and you could just show up as you, your fun, funky, silly self. And it didn't come with, well, this is now my brand and I can make a ton of money. And if I get millions of followers and I'm on TikTok and I'm all the things, I can make so much money. So I better show up to it. But it actually shrinks you into a box. And
Yeah.
for some people, they're fine with that and they love their box. That's fine. But I'm talking to some of you out there that are done with the box and you're like, it's not serving me. And I actually feel very confined in it. And I want to step off that platform. But I still want to be out in social media without having to give it up altogether. But I want
Yeah.
to step off the platform, off the pedestal, and be authentic and be here with you now, like we are doing.
Exactly. And that's what I found, the more I tried to be, and it was coming from, my history, dare I say, as a pleaser. But, I was
Was it
building
when you were a
a
child?
brand, building a brand as I was shown to build it, and as I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I was doing was losing myself in the process. And as I started taking the steps towards authenticity, to sharing content from my heart, from presence, from beingness, from realness with complete integrity, everything changed for me. And, it hasn't suffered my brand, it's actually built it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's not about trading your consciousness, your authenticity to get. It's about being really real and bringing all aspects of your life together, and trusting yourself and having faith in yourself enough to know that you're enough, that you don't have to put anything out there that isn't really true to you and who you are, because you came here to be you. And,
Well, it's
and
also a fantastic journey, Susie, because like that person I just mentioned, who's wonderful. I mean, I don't know everything she's dealing with it. She might love it, might not feel in a box at all. Like maybe it's freed her. So I acknowledge that as well. Like if you stepped up on and you found your social media presence, your online image, and it freed you to be more of who you are, that's awesome.
mm,
But then you get trapped in it because now you have too many followers or even brand deals and things you now promotions and things you that is sponsoring and you have to be a version of yourself that you've now created and now you're stuck in it. I'm simply saying that it's a journey, that maybe you get there but then you also want to release it and you're just in the space of ready to release it. Or maybe you've always wanted to release, you're like, no, I just want to be me. Great, that's, we all want just you. We want your authentic self. We don't want the version of you that maybe you've created or that the world's created by, because like Susie said, once you start out there, you start out trying to be authentic. And maybe it was that first, but then the likes started shifting what you did more of. Oh, people like this more, so I'll give them more of that. Oh, they want this. So then it molds you and
mm,
you're ready to step and break out of the mold again. So it's a journey. It's a fine journey. Maybe you had to do that first before you got here to be like, yeah, I'd like to give that up, but you had to have it to give it up. All that's fine. And we're just now shifting the consciousness today and sharing this share from a place of, what is your awareness of your presence, whether it be an online presence, whether it be a social media presence, maybe it's a presence in your family. Who are you and how are you showing up? And are you able to be your authentic and true self? And are you willing to look and find out what that is for you now, which may be different than it was last year, maybe different again in a few years from now? Are
yeah,
you willing to stay present to find out who you're willing to be and give to people in your authentic self that the world needs now, that you deeply desire to be? Are you ready to be presence?
I love that. I love that. When you can show up with your family, with your boss, with anywhere, if you can be yourself, that's true freedom to me. It
Yeah,
really,
without sweaty palms.
yeah, exactly.
Have you
Exactly.
heard that story? The monk that realized he had sweaty palms, had been a teacher for many, many, many decades at this point. He was an older man, and he showed up to meet, say, the president. I'm going to make it my own story apparently right here because I'll elaborate a little bit. In that he showed up to meet, say, a president or a figure, a state figure, and realized he had sweaty palms. So immediately left, didn't even meet him, went back to his monastery and gave up his practice as the teacher. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" Because he realized he couldn't show up authentically to these people as he was with his students and with everybody who had known him. All of a sudden, when he was in the presence of somebody he thought of as grand, his palms got sweaty. Now, I'm not sure we need to go to that extreme, but the point is that I love the story, which may just be, you know, a more of a like a proverb or a parable story in the sense of, do we need to go to that extreme, and are we willing to go to that extreme? Are we willing to look at ourselves and see when we're showing up authentically and when we're being a version of ourselves for different people depending on how we see them and how we want them to see us? And can we stay true to ourselves, whether it be with family, whether it be online, whether it be with strangers, whether it be in front of the president, whether it be in front of your favorite rock star, maybe it be in front of the person that you esteem highly? Are
Mm,
you able to, look at your, you know, um, guru or messiah or any kind of person in the face and still be you and not want to be any different? You're not ashamed in any way. And you're just able to show up and feel free to be you and present. And if not, what's that journey look like? How do you get there? What do you need to align with that in yourself and discover what it is that's authentic about you that the world needs?
mm. That's beautiful. The world just needs you as you are.
Yeah.
You were born as you were, as you.
And us silly people showing up to this video here, like talking about our stuff and talking to all of you, whether it's two people viewing it or thousands of people that ever view it. The point is that, we're just having fun and we're already having this conversation and then we hit record. And then we're like, hey, other people might feel this way too, and also might genuinely value this conversation or add to the conversation. You can
Yeah,
put a comment below and add to the conversation. Maybe you're already here. Maybe you've already left this behind. Maybe you never were here. Maybe you never had to have an image at all, but that you can see that it is out there and that it does trap people because it's hard to get put up on a pedestal. It's wonderful for a minute and then it's how to get down. How do you just be you?
exactly, exactly. So please comment below, subscribe, and like, share us if you resonate with anything we're sharing. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you most importantly for being you.
Absolutely.